Well, this is the annual Dallas County Ag Day, and the whole purpose of it is to educate the younger set as to where their food and fiber is actually coming from.
This year we'll have approximately 4,000 kids to come through to see 7 different teaching stations.
There is the dairy exhibition, there is an entomology exhibition, also one for poultry, one for cotton and other natural fibers. There's one for horses, and then there are 2 or 3 others. We have a children's barnyard where they can actually get up and be touchy-feely with the farm animals.
More and more of us don't have as many family members who have farms, and so our kids don't get firsthand, hands-on information about what goes on in the agricultural department.
These urban kids are probably 4 to 5 generations removed from the farm, so they really have no clue about where their food and fiber comes from.
I've seen them happy. I've watched them stare and their eyes get wider when they see honeybees actually making honey in a transparent or a glass-covered beehive. I've seen them watching the dairy exhibition. That seems to be among the most popular, where they see a cow actually being milked, both by hand and by an automatic milker, and learning how the milk is handled and how they can handle their own milk safely and other foods safely.
Being outside of the classroom, the kids are able to have that extended learning process. They will learn about trees, they'll learn about dairy, cotton, natural fibers, and they will be able to connect that to how it is important to their everyday life.
We got away from just standing up and talking. From the very beginning, we're asking them questions and forcing them to think their way all the way through. What is an arborist? What is a forester? What does urban mean? What is an urban forest? Things of that nature, so we don't let them go to sleep.
And we introduce a lot of new vocabulary, a lot of new processes, so I think the whole thing is very educational for them.
It is hands-on learning. It's science, it's math, it's world history, it's geography.
Sometimes we'll bump into one of the kids at another event that had been to one of our previous events, such as this one, and would spout back some of the information that we had given them. So it's really gratifying to hear that a lot of these kids are retaining everything that we're saying.
Young guy is walking by, and I said, "Would you like one of these tree buttons?" He says, "Yeah, I love that. I love trees." And he looks at me and he says, "Do you know some of the benefits of trees?" And I had to laugh because, that's what I preach all the time. And I said, "Well, how many of them do you know?" And his parents are standing behind him then. And he kind of swells up with pride and he spits out about 10 of the benefits of trees. And that's more than most adults can even mention off the top of their head. And I'm so impressed, I'm giving him posters and badges. And I said, "Boy, that's great." I said, "Your parents must be so proud," and they're just beaming from ear to ear. I said, "How did you learn so much?" He just smiled from ear to ear and he says, "I was at Farm Day 2 years ago." And it told me that they're not only listening, they retained it 2 years later and are very proud to spit it right back into my face, which it was a source of pride for me.